Welcome to Basic SolidWorks class. Today we are drawing a SolidWorks model of a chisel head hammer, as you guys can see on the screen here. All right. So at the end of the class, we should be able to draw that model and create drawings from it. Let's get started. Let's launch SolidWorks. So find SolidWorks 2019 at your desktop. Remember, you might have some other icons from SolidWorks like these SolidWorks compressor or SolidWorks electrical or some others. You might have this e-drawing. So we are not launching any of those. We're going to be launching SolidWorks 2019. This is the first screen you will see once the software opens. You might not see anything here in the recent documents because this is basically showing projects which I was working on. So where we're gonna go is we will click the part. Once here, we'll go into sketching. Remember, click sketch. So here there is sketch and 3D sketch. So we are going in sketch. And now the software asking us which plane we will be working on. I know generally we start in top plane, but in this case, we will create our sketch in the front plane. So we'll click on front here. Before we start, on the screen lower right corner, let's explore that button here and make sure that our system is in inch pound second. So we wanted to have a proper unit set for our drawing because we will be drawing in inches. So make sure it is on IPS. Okay, so we are in sketch already. Let's start with lines. So let's anchor our sketch to that software 0 position, which is basically a software home position. So we'll start there and draw a line. So as you see, when I'm hovering around on the screen, it tells me that now we are in a horizontal position. If we are going, anywhere else, it will be an angular line. So let's snap it in horizontal position. Click, it will create a line. Now I'm creating a line on an angle for the chisel part. So any angle doesn't matter. I'll click again. Now, you see, because we are creating lines, we are in line command, so it's going to keep creating lines like that. So, but here I wanted to create the radius of the tip. So the trick is that while we are in line, if I take my cursor back to that point and then come back, it will switch to arc command. Okay. If I go back again, it will switch to the other side of the arc. Let's try that again. See? So, but we want towards the right. So I'll go back again here and we'll turn back. So while I'm creating that arc, I want it to be on this point where the arc is aligned with the lower point, just like that, and click there. Now back to lines. So you're going to create an angular line again. So I'll snap on this point where the line is aligning with this point, right? It's showing me on the screen right here. Where was it? Here. Okay, click there. Now creating, now I'm zooming in and out from my mouse button, from the wheel of the mouse. Okay, I'll show you that a little bit again. So another horizontal line. This time I want to snap on this position aligning with the point here, our starting point. Okay, so I'm making sure the line is horizontal and it's aligning with the start point there. And then coming back to the start point and closing the sketch. While we are in sketching, we wanted to make sure that you don't want to exit the sketch here, because if you exit it and come back into sketch, it will create a secondary sketch or a separate sketch, which will cause a problem when we will try to draw a solid. So yeah, we can fix that, but let's keep it easy, nice and easy, and stay in sketching. If we wanted to switch between functions, we can always use escape button on our keyboard rather than exiting from the sketch. Now we will define all the entities to complete the sketch. Let's start with the height here. So by going into the smart dimension, we'll click on this line and we'll enter that dimension. That should be 1.125 inch. Enter. I can change the view to 3-digit here so that it shows 1.125. Similarly, this line would be 3.05. We'll change this line length to 3.05 as well. Okay. Now, once again, I'm using the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. So if you look at the cursor, wherever my cursor is, if my cursor is here, if I use my wheel, it will basically zoom in or out at that point. Similarly, if I wanted to do it in this area, I'll take my cursor there and zoom it in and out. Right. Next, we will define the angle between the horizontal and angular lines. So I'll click the line here and then click the other line somewhere along the length. So as you hover around the mouse, it will give you different options. So it is either with this angle, or if I go here, you can enter this angle here. We'll enter that angle 13.95. Similarly, the angle between these two lines, again, you're going to enter this angle here, 13.95. Okay. Next, we're going to define the radius of this arc. So if I again click it here, that radius should be 0.1 inch. Now our sketch is fully defined. As you can see from the color of the entities, they have all turned black. That means sketch is fully defined, and it's showing on the screen here under the screen as well, that fully defined. Before we go ahead, we wanted to also check the length of our sketch as well. So I'll just create another dimension from here to the point on the arc here, and that total length is 5 inches. Now, as you see, if I try to create that dimension, because that dimension is already established from the angles and the radius of the arc, it is conflicting with the previously defined dimension. That's why it's giving us the error that if I decide to put that dimension there, it's basically over defining it. So if I go ahead and say OK, you can see the entities turned yellow, and on the screen below here showing that our sketch is over defined. Delete that dimension. Okay, one other thing we can do actually is if you wanted to see that dimension anyhow, just for reference, we can, once you see this error, we can just turn it into a driven dimension, not the driving. So driven dimension means it is not affecting the information on the sketch, but it will be just used as a reference. So in this case, the dimension color will be different, but it will stay there and it will not cause the over define. All right, so our sketch is complete. Let's exit from the sketch and save it. In the next video, we will create the solid model of the chisel head hammer from this sketch.